Hey Shannon, have you heard anything lately?
You know what, Tanner? I have.
What have you heard?
I heard that you can email your questions, your comments, and your show title ideas to puppetscorner@gmail.com.
Are you telling me that our fans can actually be involved with the show by submitting their questions, comments, or show topic ideas to poppetscorner@gmail.com?
That's right, puppetscorner@gmail.com. That's spelled POPPITTS corner@gmail.com.
Submit your emails now. What's going on, man? Episode 13 of Poppitt's Corner, and I am in a remote location out in Covina.
Yeah.
I'm not actually in my own studio, and it's kind of nice to not be in my own studio at this time. But I'm joined with the legendary Tony Koehl, man. How you doing, sir?
Doing good, brother. How you doing,
I'm
T?
doing, man. I'm
Good,
doing.
man.
I'm doing good, man.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, it's an honor, brother. It's always an honor to hang out with you.
So how this works is I'm gonna go through your entire history. I want you to kind of tell your journey in art and music and stuff. So I want you to
Sure.
tell your story.
Sure.
So I figured we would start there.
Okay.
But I want to start from the beginning real quick.
Okay.
So take me back to when you first started painting, or first started like, picking up an instrument. Like, what did you do first?
I started like everybody else. Just picked up a crayon, start making monster faces, and enjoyed it. So I was really young when I started drawing. Getting into music, that wasn't until much later. That was like in 2007. So I've always wanted to play drums, but I never had an opportunity to until my buddy Mikey. He was in a band and they broke up, and then so I just asked, "Hey man, if I got a drum set, you want to be in a band together?" And he said yes, and I've been rocking ever since. But doing artwork, I just been doing like through elementary school. I would just use color pencils and crayons, and it wasn't until I got to high school I was able to use more mediums like watercolors and oils, and then it wasn't until I got to college. And then I really started diving deep into painting because I really didn't kind of understand how to do it. So it was good to be able to bounce ideas from instructors to see like properly how to like clean your brushes, what do certain paints do, like difference between transparent paints, opaque paints, like how do you mix them? There's a lot of questions. Yeah, a lot of questions. So
What did you start with? Like, because were you like 4 years old and you went and saw stuff on like the TV back then and just started drawing from that kind of stuff, or how did one get into art back in the heyday?
well,
Like the 70s, 80s, and
yeah, I think I was yeah. I mean, definitely grew up in an era where it was really big. It's Star Wars is big, and then Jim Henson. So they had like the Dark Crystal and Legend, and all those are great. And then it also had a lot of amazing cartoons, and toys. So we had like G.I. Joe and He-Man and the Thundercats and Transformers. And so, that definitely kickstarted my imagination. And then, then when I was like in sixth grade, started playing Dungeons and Dragons. I loved the artwork there. And then like seventh and eighth grade, like Nintendo came out, so we, once again, there's another stream of inspiration. But I always like to do artwork. I just did a lot of, I like being home alone at times, and I like just being in my own little world. I couldn't, you could just draw your own world, so you couldn't get really in trouble. No one's gonna be yelling at you. And I just like using my imagination because, like I say, I was always inspired, and there was a story to be told in my head, so I was trying to tell the story.
Okay, so then when you first picked up the did you start painting first?
No, I did pencil. I did a majority of it was pencil, just because it was readily available. And but yeah, my mom really didn't want. I mean, of course, you paint when you're a kid, but it was. I never really took it serious. I just wanted to make sure my drawings, my illustrations, were clear. So I figured I should work on my drawings first, and then getting into painting. So,
Okay. So when you first started painting or whatever, like, who were some of the painters that you kind of looked up to? during those times? And what year kind of was it as well?
Let's see. Well, when I got into painting seriously, it would be, I would probably say maybe a junior in high school, and that was in watercolors because that's what they had at in my art class. As for painters go, like I really enjoyed like all the Dungeons and Dragons painters at the time. So it was like Jeff Easley and Larry Elmore and his artist Brom, still one of my favorites. And then somebody turned me on to Frank Frazetta. Saw some of his work.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah, phenomenal. And then, so I would just go down to like the bookstores and look at like art books and stuff like that. And just be I really didn't pay attention to like the names of the artists. I just like the art,
Well, what were some of the pieces?
Some of the pieces that, I'd have to get like this old Dungeons and Dragons art book out. I don't know the name specifically, but there are just certain pieces that really just like all the monsters and stuff, and just how they rendered it. It was in oils, so it was really impressive at the time. It still is impressive, but no pieces in particular. Like I said, I used to collect G.I. Joe toys, and I always liked the illustrations of the characters on there, and then also like we had like Battle Beast and Muscles. Garbage Pail Kids were really big at the time when I was growing up, so their paintings were always a lot of fun. So yeah, I was always inspired by art. There's always art around, and like I say, video games took it to another level as well. Well, now, but back then, still pretty impressive, 8-bit, whatever. And like I say, all the illustrations inside the packaging was really fun.
Did so after you started painting and stuff, you were simultaneously into like the metal scene as well,
kind
of thing, or
yeah,
did you painting? You did painting obviously well before you started listening to music, to at least extreme music, right?
Yeah, I got into metal. Like I think Metallica one video. That's what got me into metal. I think it was like in 5th grade. So Pusshead was a big influence. Loved Pusshead's work. But I was never like at that level. Like I just like to draw. That was just something I like to do. I never even thought I was going to do it as a career. It was just something I've always done. It just, like I said, it helped with boredom, and I could do it better than any of my other friends. So they always encourage me. And then there'd be some other artists in other classes, and so we would like at lunchtime would battle. So that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that immensely. I miss calling people out and taking them out in public. Bring that back again. But yeah, I just did artwork, and like I say, the nice thing about metal was they had great art. I remember I was a lot younger. I was probably in 3rd grade, and then I was babysat by one of my mom's friends, and her son was into Iron Maiden.
Okay.
And so they had all the posters, like the Seventh Son. I remember seeing that for the first time, and that was like, it was amazing, because you don't get to see artwork like that.
No way.
Especially back then. You don't go to galleries that had a work like that. And so I just felt like, I tapped into something that a lot of people are not into. Then I just fell in love with it because I like horror movies and, like fantasy and sci-fi. That's something I've always been into.
Did VHS covers kind of inspire you too? Like, because a lot of VHS covers back then.
Oh, yeah.
This is back when we had video stores and stuff.
Yeah, well, like I say, they had all the horror movies too. They had Freddy and Jason, and Aliens was out.
Covers were amazing, dude.
We used to go to to rent the movie, rent the VHS, and they always have the big cardboard cutouts and the huge posters. So that was always really inspirational too. Yeah, there's definitely wasn't a lack of inspiration for sure growing up in that era. Which like what are the like the posters and the pamphlets. So I used to get out of English class just so I could help her with that. So kind of like my first commission, I would think. But I used to do a lot of tattoo designs for friends in high school. So I would probably be like my first paid gig. I never did tattoos. I just did the designs for them. And then my first album cover I did for my buddy Randy Davis. And then that was like in 97. And he just bought me a Wacom tablet at that time because I couldn't do the artwork with a mouse. I'm like, hey, if you just buy me a Wacom tablet, then I'll be able to, do a cover for you. And it worked out great because with that, I was able to do all the other covers for many years. So when I was first starting out, I would have, instead of people buying me things, it's really weird. Like people won't they much rather buy you a piece of equipment
Okay.
more so than give you the money to buy the piece of equipment. So when I was first starting out, I would just do a lot of trade with people.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, really interesting. I don't know if it's something to do psychologically. People just don't want to give you money. But like if I needed a new computer, say, hey, I can't do it. If I need a laptop that costs whatever, $1,200, about do your album cover, I'm sure somebody would be like, okay, cool, I can do that, as opposed to just give me $1,200 so I can buy myself a laptop. Yeah, but hey, whatever worked. I mean, I did all sorts of trades that way. Because I needed the equipment anyways, and I was going to use the money for it. So
right. So after your first commission with you said your art teacher, or did you say a teacher in?
Oh, yeah, I was a teacher. Yeah, that was like in high school, but that was just so I can get out of English class, so I can hang out and just draw
right.
like her
So
pamphlets.
from there to the tattooing, how did you start doing album covers for bands?
Well, I said my friend Randy Davis. Well, in high school I was always into music. I went to a lot of shows. Just go to shows, like a couple shows every week, and that's something I've always wanted to do. And so I contacted a lot of bands. A lot of bands really didn't want to work with me at first. A lot of bands didn't want to work with me at first. Hell, to this day, still a lot of bands don't want to work with me at first. So what I would just end up doing is just work on pieces of art, and then I would make a portfolio. So when I go to shows, I would say, here's my work. And this is way before, the internet and stuff like that. So I would just go and I'll do like pen and ink renderings, and then just get them photocopied, and then put them in plastic sheets, and then put them in like a 3-ring binder. Mm-hmm. And so when I go to shows, we would go early anyways. And then we used to go to Showcase Theater in Corona. So, which was great about that place, because when it's not LA, you don't have to pay for parking. It's all ages, and you can always meet the bands because they're always like parked right around the corner. And so I would just go and just like bring my portfolio and say, hey, here's my business card. And then it really wasn't until like MySpace kind of popped up that helped me launch my career. Because instead of putting up pictures, I just put up a bunch of artwork, and I just hit up a bunch of my friends and that were in bands, and then other bands, and try to add them and add all their fans. And then that's kind of how that went into a direction, because I was working at Trader Joe's at the time painting murals. And then when that job, I was working for a couple of years, and then pretty much painted everything I could paint inside there. And they're like, yeah, we can go back on register. I'm like, nah, I just much rather do art, because I was doing album covers at the time. I'm like, let me just keep doing what I want to do. And then, I just haven't stopped since.
So what was the first band that you actually kind of did with, or that you actually painted for, or that you actually did like a cover for?
Well, this band Bane from Los Angeles, they were good friends of mine, phenomenal band at the time. And then it was Bane from LA, not Bane from, I guess it's a hardcore back east one. Mm-hmm. So I was friends with those guys for a long time, and they needed an album cover. So I want to say like 97, 98, I worked on their cover, and I think it got printed in 99. And then after that, I worked with a band, Goratory, which was Rice on Suede. And that's like a classic album at this point. So that's kind of that was the first serious band that was on a label, was Goratory, Rice on Suede. Okay,
so what happened after you did your first cover with Rice on Suede or whatever? Like, how did more people hear about you from that specific cover?
Yeah, absolutely. I had definitely, because one, it was just a great band, great guys. And it was a serious album that dropped back in the day. And then, I can say I just kept plugging away at it, hitting up labels. Yeah, for like 2 years, man. I just hit up every label and every band that I knew, and just asking people if they need artwork, because somebody eventually, at some point in time, is going to need like a t-shirt design, a poster design, album cover, somebody. So I just kept hitting the pavement and doing that. I don't do it as much as I should these days. But it's just hard, because now everybody just wants to find like the cheapest guy, or there's some guys that are phenomenal, and they just want to go for them. So I'm like somewhere in the middle, kind of like lost in limbo at this point. But yeah, luckily I got a few bands keep hiring me, so I'm pretty lucky about that.
That's good. That's good. So during the 90s, you're more prolific, I guess, during like the 2000s era.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the 90s, but you still had a couple from that specific time.
Yeah, I did. I also did Extremities magazine. I did some artwork for them a while back. This guy Steve, I want to say Steve Miller. I think that was his name. And so I did some work in there. I'm not sure if it even got published. And I did like some local death metal bands. I did some t-shirt designs for this band Sepsism a while back. And then, yeah, it was really weird. It was just, I don't know if it was a confidence level or something. I could have pushed it a lot more, but there's so many great, like, there was like Dan Seagrave, Wes Ben Scotter. Like, those guys raised the bar so high. Like, I never like thought my work would be good enough to work with any like bands, especially at that time. Mm-hmm. And now it's like, I mean, there's such a large gamut of artists that are working in the scene at the moment. And like, if I was a younger artist seeing what's been done now, I definitely would have pushed it like in high school.
Tenfold, yeah.
Yeah, I'd have been 15, hitting up bands because it seems like some of this work looks like a 15-year-old's art. So I'm like, I would have definitely threw my hat in the ring for sure. But like I say, when I was, they were just such a higher standard for art when I was a kid that I thought of, not necessarily that was true, but all the bands like I was buying, all the albums I was getting, the artwork was, I would say 70% of them were amazing. The other bit was like, it was okay,
So during, I guess, the 2000s, because you clicked more with like the younger kind of brutal death metal bands. I'm just trying to figure out how they kind of discovered you, and it wasn't just directly from the Rice on Suede release.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what. But
I'm just trying to figure out how you got pigeonholed into the brutal death metal guy.
I don't know. I mean, I've worked with a bunch of different styles. I mean, I worked with hip hop groups. I worked with black metal bands. Melodic, technical. I mean, I worked a lot of death metal bands. But yeah, like slam bands. I mean, yeah, there's brutal death metal band. And there's, I don't know. I mean, because of the artwork. Maybe because I like to. I'm not afraid of doing gore or afraid of. I'm not really. I mean, I don't really personally don't do like religious, like anti-religious art. Me personally, but I don't mind doing demonic art. I just like doing death metal covers, man. It's super fun. And like I say, I'm not really picky on specifically what bands, but yeah, just some reason, like brutal death metal bands. Yeah, I got a lot of brutal death metal bands.
I don't know why you got pigeonholed.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know either. Yeah, I'm not too sure.
So how did you start your equipment? Because I want to go back to the equipment question where you started on what was the one that you got first? It was
a Wacom tablet, or a Wacom tablet. It was just a little tablet, like stylus that you can draw with. Yeah, I used my friend's computer. We didn't have a like a nice enough computer, so I was going to junior college at Mount Sac, so I would do a lot of my work on their computers, and that was they used to have jazz drives back then, and so then they used to have printers there as well. So I just do the artwork, and then back then to print out a full color was like $10
for just one sheet of
just one
paper?
sheet, yeah. So I would do that, and just work on there. Just go into the computer lab after finish up my homework, and then I would just work, on there. I didn't have a nice enough computer back then.
I don't think anybody had a nice enough computer back then because of technology or whatever.
Right. Yeah, like I say, the internet was like, it was super slow, ultra slow. Like emails was like the big thing back then, to have like a Hotmail account. Like, whoa, you have a Hotmail account.
Does anybody still have a Hotmail account?
I still do for my junk mail. Yeah, I still have my original Cole 76 at Hotmail. Yeah, that was my original one. So
that's awesome. I still have my AOL.
Yeah. So like, I think all of us still have them, but they're just flooded full of junk mail.
So what? Last thing on like the art thing. What are you doing now?
I'm still doing covers.
As far as covers go, so
yeah, I'm still doing covers. I think I'm just slowly wanting to do my own work, like my own art. So I'm not really pushing too much of like trying to get a lot of work, and it's really hard, man. Like all these bands just they always want to nickel and dime you, and at a certain point in your life, you're like, you know what? I can just do my own artwork and sell it for the exact same amount of money that these guys are like willing to pay me, which unfortunately is like, I mean, it's cool that they pay me, but it's like it's almost not even a livable wage. It's kind of sad at this point. So I'm just like, yeah, I just got to start making bigger moves. And
Different
just start
outlets.
doing more things. Like I work with leather stuff, and I want to teach more classes working with leather because I enjoy doing that a lot. I want to do more paintings, more physical paintings, because when I work with clients, most of it's in Photoshop, just so they can have they can change whatever needs to be changed really easy. But like right now, yeah, I'm doing I'm doing a beer label at the moment. Something to do with art. It always has to do with art, you know. I mean, I work so hard to work on a talent, not just to throw it away, you know. But I would like just to do my own personal work eventually. I keep saying it, but put a book together, you know. I like to do that, just put different volumes out. But yeah, right now I just want to book a lot of shows. I want to do a lot of live art shows. I really enjoy the live art aspect. I like the pressure of doing that. I like meeting people, like trying to just, you know.
Now, what is live art?
Live art is when there's a festival or a show going on, you just paint like on location and you just kind of paint like the vibe of the show. Or right now, I'm actually just going to be working on some personal work. So it just gets me out of the house. I can just paint in public, really, and then have people ask questions if they want, or if they don't know who I am. I have like a portfolio and business cards, and they could check it out. And it just get me out of the house. Like I said, I'm always at my studio, just working, and it gets lonely, you know. So
I could, you know, obviously I can relate to that.
Yeah. So I mean, I enjoy people. To this day, I still enjoy talking to people. And
but how did you get into the live art?
I got into live
realm?
art because I wanted to, because I love death metal so much, and I can't play it or sing it, and I don't know how else I can contribute other than doing art. And I'm like, well, I do a lot of live art at other types of music festivals, and there's a bunch of live artists. So I'm like, you know what? I want to take that into the metal scene, and so I can just contribute, just give back to the community, and also give to the culture. Because, you know, hip hop has a bunch of live artists, and EDM has live artists, you know, even like psychedelic bands. There's all these other genres that have live artists, but like not death metal doesn't. Other than me and a couple other friends that I brought along, I don't know too many other people doing live art for death metal shows.
Yeah, because I don't know if anybody's ever done that until you told me that whole concept of it.
Yeah, I've never seen it. I've seen it in other genres of music. So I'm not claiming to be the originator of doing live art.
But for extreme music,
I've never seen anybody. Yeah, and so I just wanted to. I want to have a reason to give back, and then I'll have like a booth, and then I'm like, here, man, you know, here's some of my work I've done, and also helps me like. If nobody knows who I am, they can meet me. They can see some of the work I've done previous, and if it helps me, you know, land an album cover, that's great. But if not, it doesn't matter because I'm still working. I'm still making a piece of artwork. So once the festival's over, I can still walk away with a piece of artwork, and then either touch it up in my studio or sell it there or sell it in the gallery.
It's quite amazing, dude, that you can do that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, well, it's amazing that you guys can do what you do. So
I'm not claiming to be a brutal fucking death metal band or anything like that, but we're both musicians, right? So I want to kind of take things another turn if we can.
Sure.
Because you play drums.
Yeah.
And most people don't know that about you. So how did the whole drum thing start? When did you start playing drums?
I played in 2007. I started, and I've always wanted to play drums. And so one of my oldest best friends, Mikey Harriman, that I've known since like third grade, we used to hang out in high school. And he always used to sing his songs. He had acoustic guitar, so he was singing his songs. I had like a little wooden xylophone, so I used to play with him all the time. And then after high school, he got in a hip hop group. It's called Sessionated Minds. And then him and his brother started another band called Longfish. And so I knew all the guys in there. And then I always tell Mikey, like, man, your songs are cool, but I like your songs, man. Why don't you sing your songs you used to sing in high school? So, we don't do that. So Danny Pagellum, his old drummer, I used to ask him, hey man, do you mind if I play your drum set? Because I want to play with Mikey, and I'll play before you guys get to band practice. So then he'll be warmed up, and I want to learn how to play drums. Like I've always wanted to learn how to play drums. And his music is real simple. I'm like, how long as I could just keep the beat, as long as I 1 and 2 and 3, if I can do that. And so that's how that started. And then that band unfortunately broke up. And so I asked Mikey, I'm like, hey man, if I bought a drum set, would you want to be in a band? Because I love doing this. I love him. I never get to see him anymore. So I'm like, well, if I start a project with him, then he'll always be in my life. And then so he'll never just disappear like a lot of my other friends. They people get married and having kids. And so it was one of the greatest decisions I've ever made. And then my wife at the time asked her, hey, babe, is it okay if I get a drum set? She said, that's no problem. And then my buddy Danny Pagellum, he's the one that hooked me up with the drum set. He found one on Craigslist, went down to OC, picked up this Yamaha Fusion kit. It came with Gibraltar rack, came with the throne, cowbell. It came with soft cases, like only at $400. So I had that bad boy, and then I never looked back, man. I've always enjoyed. My favorite instrument is the drums. Every time I go listen to a band, I'm always listening to the drummer first. All my favorite bands have great drummers, and that's pretty much how that started. And and so I'm in one of my favorite bands in the world, and very stoked about it. I'm very excited, and I'm honored to be with these guys for so long. And then we have 6 songs. Well, we have 6 songs mixed and mastered. And
what is the project called? Did you mention what the project?
Fishing for Neptune. The name of the band's called Fishing for Neptune. And then.
And what year did you guys?
We started 2007.
Okay.
But Mikey and Paul, they've been in they're brothers, so they've always been playing music together. And and so they're in the Longfish together. And so when Mike and I were playing, and then Paul joined in naturally, and then just made the project better. And then we went through a lot of bass players, and finally we got the bass player that we have now is Patrick. He's phenomenal, and he's been the best fit. And so our band's right now has been the tightest it's ever been. And like I say, we have 6 songs mixed and mastered. I want to get another 4 songs mixed and mastered.
Who does all that stuff?
There's a gentleman, Todd. I forgot his last name. I should know his last name by now, but it's Mikey's friend. He's worked on a lot of big stuff, and he does good work. A little pricey. That's why things are getting kind of pushed back, because it's kind of pricey.
This guy, this come from the guy who's like, yeah, nobody wants to pay. what you.
Yeah,
that's
true.
funny that you mentioned that.
True,
that's awesome.
But I don't know much about mix and mastering. So
it's a lot of work.
Yeah,
it's
I'm kind of confused on that. I know how much work goes into art, so but it's definitely good that my buddy Mikey's really happy with it, and I want Mikey to be happy. So whatever he wants to do, but it's just because this is like a labor of love. It's not like we're gonna be going on tour making our money back,
right?
So not saying that we're just throwing it down a money pit, but as you in a band yourself, it's expensive, and like I say, I got to do all the artwork, so I got to take out my time and my budget to do the artwork, and I don't want to do like 2 EPs. I'd much rather just put it together on one album. Because
you're smart, dude.
Yeah.
Most bands will do the 2 EP thing.
Yeah, which is great for them, but I got to do the artwork. So, and I want to do really good artwork for it. So I don't want to I don't want to just kind of half-ass it. I want to make something real nice. And it's my band, so I want to make it real nice and something I'm proud of. And we worked really hard for all these songs, and we had to wait a couple more months, whatever. And because I'm super, super proud of my guys and myself and our songs. I love our songs. They're super cool. I'm the biggest fan. I'm the biggest fan, period, of
we're all
Mikey.
The biggest fans.
Yeah, Mikey
bands.
And Pollywog. So it's the reason why this band exists, because I love these guys, and I believe in what these guys are doing. And these are the funkiest brothers I've ever jammed with. And
I want to go see you guys play live again or whatever.
Oh yeah, you did. Thank you again for doing that.
But I want to go see you again. I was going to say I went to see you guys play as well, but I want to see you again because of
our boy Jason. He hooked us up a show in I want to say, oh goodness, I should have it dialed in. It's Sunday.
Okay.
I have to look.
It's all good.
I have to look, but we're playing at Old Town Pub. We're playing at the Old Town Pub, and it's next month. I won't say the 4th, But no, it's not the 4th. I'm sorry. The 4th, I'm doing live art with William at a free death metal show, which is the 4th. And the other one's on a Sunday. So I'll get my dates set. Sorry, guys.
It's all good. It's all good. Well, let us know when that happens or whatever. But I was going to say, because the one time I did see you guys...
we were guitar player short, right?
Yeah, it was only a 3-piece.
Yeah, 3. Oh, yeah, you can see with Polywalk. Oh, man, that guy brings the thunder. Yeah. So
and
it's a whole different ball game when
it was at a place in... Huntington Beach?
Yeah, some pub.
I forget.
I forget too. It was Oh.
It was a good... I had a blast.
Yeah, it was cool, but it was a really long drive for like...
Well, don't forget, I had just recorded, or I either just recorded or had just practiced with Madrost,
right.
and then I drove straight from either rehearsal or recording. I can't remember which one at the time, because it was about a year or two ago.
Yeah, about a year ago. Yeah.
But I just remember, it was kind of nice and soothing, because I'm always used to the raw, and then like... But when you get to see Tony play, he's not doing the raw. It's like more, I guess, funky.
Yeah, funky. Yeah,
more spacious kind of music.
Funky rock goodness is what I call it.
Funky rock goodness. Yeah. Sounds like a candy bar.
Yeah. We're pretty sweet, brother. We're pretty sweet.
Oh, okay. There you go. But my point is I think people should go definitely check out Fishing for Neptune, just because it's kind of like the yin to the yang on everything that you're doing, and then you're in a funk band.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Everybody always kind of disappointed that I'm not in a metal band, but I'm like, there's plenty of metal bands out there. There's plenty of them, man. I mean, there's not a shortage of metal bands.
It's good, kind of good and bad, but
Yeah, well,
to each his own, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I like how there's a lot of metal bands, because at least there's always metal, especially in Southern California. There's always a good metal band to see. There's always something going on. But not too many funk bands, or funky rock bands. For me, unfortunately, maybe I'm not tapped into it or something. But I don't kind of come across it, on an everyday basis. Once in a while, like something will kind of pop up, like, oh, this is really, really cool. But I just like the groove, man. I like the idea of...
You're really good at drums.
Oh, thanks, man. I won't say I'm really good, but I try to keep...
Well, I think...
I try to keep my guys straight, I try to be, I try to take it serious, because it's a instrument I've respected for many years, and there's many drummers I definitely idolize and respect.
Like who? Like who's your biggest for the style of music that you play?
Oh, geez Louise. No. Okay, so what actually got me started, which is funny, I have loved so many drummers, but the drummer that got me wanting to physically play drums is Patrick from the Black Keys. That guy. Once I heard his way he was playing drums, like his beats and rhythms, I was like, this is something for me. I mean, everybody's different, because I love all sorts of great drummers. A lot of all great bands that all their drummers, right? So there's a lot of them. I don't sit here and name them all, but that guy Patrick was the one where I'm like, I can do that. I can play that beat. I know I can play that beat. If I had a drum set, and had headphones, and give me an hour, I think I can play one of these songs. That's what ended up happening. And then once I did that, it just gave me a lot of, because I can't play the metal stuff. I can't play all the crazy fast fills and polyrhythm, like not all that stuff. I mean, that's not in my wheelhouse. That's not really what my goal is as a drummer. I just want to be the best drummer for my band. I don't want to be the best drummer. Does that make sense? Like, I don't have the time, unfortunately, to spend 8 hours a day sitting there trying to grind it all out. Like, I just have too many other interests in my life. And like I say, I know my band is not. We're not going to go. It's just for fun. We're not gonna go anywhere.
Well, the problem with that theory is there's always going to be somebody better.
Oh, there's always somebody better. There's somebody better than me in art. And I've done art my entire life. Drawing and painting and sculpting. There's always somebody better, but there's always somebody worse. And I don't mind being somewhere in the middle.
But you should be the best Tony that you can be. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, I'm definitely the best Tony. But I'm
best Tony Koehl you could be.
Yeah, and always improving, baby. Always improving.
Every day, dude.
Every day, man.
What are you up to now?
Right now, I'm into making a bunch of sad art at the moment, but which I'm really enjoying. I have gone through an interesting breakup. which has been devastating and amazing at the same time to be able to feel this way. I've never actually felt this way about a woman before, which is I think it's beautiful, and she deserves all the love for sure. And it's just a shame that it didn't work out. It's a big shame it didn't work out, but that's his life. You got your ups and downs, and so I've been down a lot, but taking that experience and just trying to make some really cool artwork that I want more people to see. The difference is when I work with somebody, it's their ideas, right? Okay. And so I've been doing these practices on these thumbnails every day, and I want people to be able to feel the artwork more so than worry about the rendering and the final illustration of it. So I've been really excited about the idea and the emotion coming across of these little sketches that I'm doing.
Well, they say that like the best art comes from like down and out periods.
Yeah, all my favorite art came out of me has been through the worst periods. Yeah,
that's what
for sure. So I'm already as an artist or as a human or as a soul or whatever you want to say, as a person that's experiencing life, I've been through some tragedies in my day and always been inspired coming out of it. But this one particular
incident,
this has been the longest I've ever been sad, which is interesting.
That's kind of incredible.
Yeah, this is definitely the longest period of sadness I've ever experienced, and I'm definitely strong enough to get through it. And I'm not saying that I'm at the tail end of anything at all by any stretch of the imagination, but not that I'm almost to a point where like you're kind of used to it now, and then it makes me I like about it because it makes me really appreciate like love songs and sad movies, because before I never really appreciate them, and like just like touching art and just certain things that are I'm picking up, just like say music and stuff like that normally wouldn't have paid attention to, and and it's good because I get to feel like something else I just kind of just pushed away or
didn't know existed.
Yeah, I knew it existed, but I never experienced it for myself personally, and I have a lot of beautiful, amazing women, great women that I've loved in my life. But not like this one was real special. And and like I say, she's still special and still amazing, and like I say, I had nothing but the best for her. So and I just have to thank her countlessly for all the goods and bads, because they're just making me a better person, and I enjoy that. Like I say, you can't always just be happy. You got to have both sides of the spectrum. You got to have the good and the bad. But the challenge is when it gets really bad, just don't like dwell in it, and don't don't go over the edge. You can step right up to the edge and look over, just don't go over it. That's the practice.
It's kind of hard. Usually most people, at least for me, like I learned that lesson on like very early on. Mm-hmm. So the fact that you're learning it at your age is kind of awesome. It's kind of inspiring.
Yeah, it's mind blowing actually. To
hear it.
To go through it, it's blowing my mind.
At all, to be lucky, at least you get to go through.
Well,
it once.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm really thankful for it. Like I say, I'm able to tap into something, and it's great because every day I have a new image that kind of wants to be seen. Right, right now, like tomorrow morning, I know exactly what I'm going to draw. And like after I draw that one, then during the day, instead of like, it gets sad, about missing that person and all the fun things we used to do and how special they were. And, and you kind of get like self-deprecating. It's like, oh, I messed things up. They don't want to be with me anymore because I'm not good enough and this and that. It's like, well, it's not that you're not good enough. It's just not good enough at that moment. Maybe for that individual because they have other goals and stuff. But like as a human being, I know I'm good enough. But it's it's hard to deal with it, because you're like, man, I worked really hard to be a good human being and have a lot of talents and just strive to be better and make a name for yourself and I think I'm pretty cool. And unfortunately, I've done some uncool things for this individual not to have me in their life anymore. So that kind of humbles me to a point to like, all right, well, I got to better assist. And, because having a relationship, that's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
It's also a two-way street. So you can't take full responsibility. You only could, I always think of like, she has, it's half and half kind of thing. Like, you know what I mean? Because it's two people in a relationship. It ain't just one.
Yeah, but I would take I take responsibility for it because there's things I could have done to make it better. For sure. Things that we discussed and talked about.
But vice versa, though. I'm sure there's things she could have done better.
Oh yeah, but yeah, for sure. But those things were bothering her more so than the things were bothering me. You know what I mean? So it's okay. Life goes on, dude. Man. Like I say, I got a lot of great artwork, got a lot of great memories. And then I'm definitely inspired just to be better, just to be like, hey, man, I'm not as bad as you think. I just need a little time to kind of get things moving. That's all, because I'm always juggling a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you kind of say, well, everybody has to do that in their life. They have to take a step back for a minute and kind of,
reassess.
Think about, how can I make myself better? How can I make the world better and my surroundings,
Yeah.
I mean, everybody goes through that period. It's just amazing that, like, I'm sure you've been through it more than once. I'm sure this isn't the first time you've experienced
I definitely got my heart broken a few times. But when I was younger, so when I got my heart broken, it was like, oh, I'm so happy to found death metal, because I was like, oh, that was
my heaven too. Dude.
Yeah, it was like my saving grace, man. Like all the brutal lyrics and the artwork and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, that is it. But as I'm older, I don't dwell in anger anymore because I have kids too. So it's hard for me. I got to really not be as angry as I used to be because that's what got me into metal and just being angry. The world's messed up and. It's frustrating. It's scary. It's like, how do you fix it? Or, can you fix it? There's a lot of questions, especially going, as a young man, how was your place? And also I just like bass heavy music and aggressive music. It's soothing to me,
I think you like the groove aspect because to tell you the truth, you play in a funk band as well.
Yeah.
And that has a lot of groove in it,
older death metal for sure did. That's what, like a lot of the newer stuff, I feel like it's more for a technical. It's more like now I feel like it's more like the modern day jazz. It's more technique and it's all the stuff is great.
Precision as opposed
precision.
To,
yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, it's definitely a work of art. It's a point where you just have to stand there and you're like, oh my goodness, you guys can do this live. That's hats off to you. And but yeah, I definitely love the groove. I love groove, man. I love anything just shaking you and make you want to move, and there's a few bands still doing that to this day, which I'm pretty stoked on. But but like I say, growing older, and I don't put my anger into that so much. I don't know. I find it interesting, and it makes me appreciate other forms of sadness that's into art. Like I said, I never like old country music, and now I listen to it, you're like, oh, now I get it. Before I listened, like, whatever, boring. But now I get it. Now I understand. I'm like, oh, these guys had their hearts ripped out and blues. I've always loved blues. And, there's I just feel like now because of this experience, I can relate to more things and I get more joy out of it. And so
it's quite amazing, dude.
Yeah.
Like, a bunch of rock songs do that for me now too, where it's like I didn't understand it beforehand, but then I had to go through kind of some of the same experiences, and I'm like, I get it.
Yeah.
And even listening to classical music has done stuff for me.
Absolutely.
I don't know what it is. I used to hate it as a kid. I did not like classical music at all, and for some reason, just after experiencing things, happy and sad, I found I like other forms of music. So it seems like it's the same for you.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of different genres of music since I was real young. Because, like I say, I like drummers. So, but got me excited about metal because those drummers, there's no other drummers like metal drummers. So, but like when I grew up, my mom, I used to listen to Motown. She used to play Motown all the time. So I really enjoyed that growing up. And like my dad used to play, like I say, he used to be old country. He used to listen to old country and old like classic rock, So when I grew up, I listened to that. And then my grandfather used to listen to big band music, old big jazz. So there's always little bits of music I would listen to, but like metal is my music. That was even growing up, like especially extreme music, even in high school, and that's
what you identified with.
Yeah, there was
more.
nobody at that time more of a fan, harder. Like that was I worked hard for my music, for my collection, for the shows I seen. And I'd say that to this day, man. There was nobody during that era harder than me, man. Straight up. Like, if there was, you can email me, whatever, back in like the early 90s in my area. Not saying in the world, but where I grew up in here in Covina and stuff like that, there wasn't. I had my buddy Mike Kolb at the time. He was a good buddy of mine. We used to go to a lot of shows together, but he wasn't going to my high school. He went to Northview, another high school. So him and I used to pal around all the time, and he was like he was my death metal buddy. We went to more shows than, we could afford.
What were some of the record shops you guys used to go to find your CDs?
Thrash Records was the record store, and it used to be in Azusa here on Arrow. And that was the first store that got me into death metal. And it eventually, when I was
what
junior
was that
in high
first
school.
album that you
First
said,
album,
what the hell
and it was
is
back
this?
then, man. It was back then where they used to be in cardboard. It used to be I showed you. Remember last time?
Yeah, video games used to do that too.
Right.
It was the
a cardboard case.
Yes.
So when you get inside there, all of them are just set up. So to me, it was like a death metal museum because you're like, well, first of all, look at all the rad artwork on this.
Right.
And then, so it was easy. I'm like, it would just do the money alone. I'm like, I would just pay $10 just for the artwork. It was incredible. And so I think my first album I ever picked up that I own was Malevolent Creation, Retribution, and then Necrocism. I think it's pronouncing Necrocism, Disencanting the Insulibris, right, from Carcass.
Oh yes.
And then Pungent Stench, Been Caught Buttering. Those were like my three. Those ones I remember getting. Those were the ones, and then...
what about those album covers did it for you? Or did you hear the music first?
No, I saw the album covers. Yeah, I just saw the artwork. It was just blew my mind. And, Dan Seagrave, like to this day, one of my favorite artists of all time. His just work was just so detailed and it was just so out there and it was dark, and then, like I say, the Pungent Stench, Been Caught Buttering, it was just two severed heads, male heads kissing each other.
Right, but brutal. The black and white?
The black and white, yeah. So I thought that was super cool. And then, Carcass, it was, their cover was it was okay. It wasn't that good. But I remember listening to the music. Because back then, you can just, it was such a small store, you can just ask them to listen to it, and they'll actually just play it for you. Yeah, that was before all that stuff. And then we used to go to, and then I found the Mecca was in Rosemead, and it was a place called Wild Rags. And that was the store back then. They had everything, all black metal. Like they had all stuff from all around the world, and it was actually their own little label as well. So, that was before, like Tower Records kind of had they started having death metal at the time. And then when Best Buy first opened up, they had a lot of death metal too. So I remember going down to Best Buy and picking up a lot of death metal CDs.
That's
there.
badass.
Yeah.
Dude. Best Buy, huh?
Yeah, back then when they first started, then there was like was it Blockbuster?
Blockbuster had death metal? Are you telling me?
I think it was called Blockbuster. Not Blockbuster Video. Maybe another one, but you used to be able to pick out the CD. Back then, you'd be able to grab the CDs and then actually open them up for you. You can listen to it before you bought them.
Okay.
Yeah, because back then you would just buy them on a whim. You just look at the cover. You're like, oh, that cover looks cool.
You know what's funny? I still do that. And
yeah, same
I've
here,
already told you you've inspired me to. You were the inspiration behind all that.
Yeah.
It's just if I find something cool, like especially if it's a vinyl.
Oh yeah.
And it has cool artwork, and I know it's a metal band. I'm like, I have to hear what the sounds
like. Yeah,
like.
listen to it. Yeah.
And sometimes I'm disappointed, but sometimes it's just like, oh my god, this is amazing.
Yeah,
like,
I think I've been more pleased than disappointed.
Yes.
Like I remember picking up, I think I probably said this before, and no disrespect to the band, but just not my style of metal, was a Manowar. When I picked up Manowar, I'm like, dude, this cover is amazing.
Which one was it?
Oh, brother, I don't even know. This is probably back in like 93, 92, 93 era. I don't remember but I remember picking up, listening to it. I was just like, didn't like it. So I traded it with my buddy Ken that had a Suffocation, Breeding the Spawn.
You traded a Manowar record for Suffocation?
Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, I'll definitely take that. So yeah, so like I say, back then you'd trade too. CDs were pretty rare, especially in high school. It cost some good chunk of change.
Back then, yeah, absolutely.
Back then. Yeah, now they go to thrift stores and get them for like $1, so it's great.
You still do that though?
Yeah, I still do that. Yeah, I do that. I just did it the other day. Yeah.
So what? Lastly, before we get out of here, I want to thank you again for having.
Oh, it's a pleasure,
me
man. My pleasure.
At the lovely studio that we're in right now. But as you can see, people in Radio Land can't, but people in the Video Land, obviously, we have a canvas here. So kind of explain.
It's a tapestry.
It's a tapestry.
It's a sublimated tapestry.
So kind of explain what this artwork is. Is this an album cover?
Yeah, it was an album cover, and the band didn't like it, and I loved it. I'm like, that's fine. I'll just use it for my own art, and yeah. So I mean, for me, it's kind of like Mother Earth, and so I don't know. That's kind of fun just to kind of.
Oh, I see it now.
Yeah, to me, that's how I took it. So the bottom of it's more organic bugs and stuff like that, and then on top is more of it's like with an alienist, like third eye type of like otherworldly dimension, and that all kind of comes together through this, through a woman, because that's what they are. Women's, not what they are, but they are.
Are you telling me women are aliens?
We're all aliens, brother. We're all aliens, but yeah, but women are definitely gateways. Definitely gateways, man. We got here through women, so they're definitely a gateway to somewhere special.
It's true. It's very true.
Definitely true. So so that's what that is. And then my buddy Tom Denny, he worked for.
Tom's a good dude.
Yeah, Tom. Yeah, great guy. So he, as a gift, he got this printed up for me.
And it says bringer. It says bringer of all beings on the bottom. Is that what that says on the bottom of the tapestry?
Yeah. So that's the title of it.
That's fucking rad, dude.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, thanks so much for giving me this opportunity again to talk to you, and to hopefully we told most of your story. But is there anything else you want to say? We got to talk links and stuff before.
Absolutely. So. Yeah, if you you could type in my name, Tony Koehl, TonyKoehl.
Make sure to spell it right, people.
Yeah, definitely spell the Koehl right. Or Sketch the Soul. You just type that in Google search or any type of search engine, and a bunch of things will come up, like Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all the things. I'm on, Google Plus. I'm on all the things, and LinkedIn, whatever you need.
All that shit.
Yeah, all that stuff I'm in. So do that. Like I say, I also have a couple shows lined up. November 4th, I'm doing a free death metal show with William from it's this big company, but I know he's Eden's Onslaught. He's in that band. They're playing. My buddy Josh Smith is also doing live art with me as well. Like I say, it's a free show. It's my favorite bar in Pasadena, which is Old Town Pub. It's amazing little spot, super cute place. And then my band's playing there as well. And that's on a Sunday. And I almost want to say it's the 14th of November, if that's a Sunday. So my band will be playing at the same place. And then I'm going to be at Wasteland Weekend this weekend. I'm going to be having a bunch of my leather stuff. I'll be working on it, making a bunch of leather things too, and helping out my friend Chino over there with the sound. And then I'm also doing live art in Houston, Texas at Building Temples from Death Fest. My boy Brian from Ossuary Industries is doing that. He's a phenomenal human being, and I'm very honored and proud to be a part of that again. And then I will also be doing more festivals with my crew, Art Temple crew, which will definitely be doing Lucidity Festival, which will be next year. And then we have to have a couple meetings to figure out what other festivals are to be doing. And then I'm pretty much ramping up to do as many live art shows as possible. And then I'm one of these days I'm going to get my book together, and then I'm also going to be having my own
book together.
Yeah, my artwork. So I'm going to have 3 different volumes. So I'm going to have a black and white one. I'm going to have one with my Third Eye Enigma work, and then my album covers. So it's going to be 3 different volumes.
Oh, that's amazing, dude.
Yeah.
Are you doing hardcover or something?
I don't know yet. So I'm debating, because I mean, unfortunately, I don't have the budget to actually print it myself. So probably printing on demand at first. I'm not really too sure about publishing or nothing like that. But if I could find someone that wants to publish them, it'd be great.
So you're actually going through with it, because I know we had on previous interviews we've done. You had said that someday I wanted to do a book.
I'm definitely I got called out, man. I got called out. Someone dear to my heart called me out on some of my stuff, so I'm gonna have to make it happen, man. She called me out, so I'm gonna have to prove that I can walk the walk and talk the talk. So I'm doing that, and I'm also doing my own podcast, which is gonna explain a lot of the things I've worked with leather. And so maybe I can inspire some other people to work with leather. Maybe not so much of my art, because
you can incorporate that in. It's going to be.
I could a little bit, but no one wants to watch me paint a painting for 40 hours, But I can definitely describe and show somebody how to work with leather, in few, at least 30 minutes and maybe to an hour. It's a little more interesting than watch me paint. But
if you had a time lapse thing or whatever,
yeah, time lapse and stuff like that. Yeah, so I definitely want to have more of a video presence, and yeah, like I say, I got called out, man. So I got to.
That's amazing.
I got to make it happen.
I'm glad you got called out. Yeah. I'm looking for. I want all 3 of those volumes.
Okay, yeah. I don't know when this is gonna happen, but right now I was thinking about going through Amazon, but I'm not too sure about Amazon. I'd much rather just do it kind of like DIY. So not say I don't trust Amazon. I just don't trust.
DIY, not DIY.
Yeah,
DIY.
Yeah, DIY. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, so I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure how I want to do it. But it's definitely in the works. I have all the artwork ready to go. I just don't know how I'm going to get it. I'm not sure if I'm going to print on demand. I don't know if I should just maybe print out a number. I don't know if I should do maybe a Kickstarter, something like that. I'm not too sure, because I'm not sure how many people would even buy it. So I don't want to put all this work in to have 10 people get it when I put, it's a lot of work to put a book together. Well, I can be making more artwork and paying bills. But I just want to do it just so I say I have a book. I have a lot of artist friends that have multiple books by now, and it's it's like being in a band not having an album. We got a bunch of songs, but we don't have an album yet.
Right. It's
so
true.
it's kind of like the same thing. And then I never know where that might take me. So
sweet.
Yeah.
Well, last but not least, my last question that I wanted to ask you is the top 5 experiences that you had making artworks for bands. So what were those bands and the albums that you created? What were the top 5
good experiences or bad experiences?
Great experiences.
Definitely
the best ones that you're this is a lot of fun to do. The band's amazing.
Yours was a lot of fun, of course. Yours was.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Working with Waking the Cadaver, the first album was a lot of fun. I really loved that band. Their first 2 songs, "Chase Through the Woods" was the jam that
got everybody else, dude.
Well, everybody likes blood splattered, but I really enjoyed "Chase Through the Woods" because that song kind of hybrid 2 styles of metal for me. That was really cool. It was just great guys, and it was just a lot of fun to do. And then definitely Goratory, that was the Rice on Suede. That was a lot of fun to do. I grew maggots for that project. That was a lot of fun. And I just had a lot of fun with that one because it's my first real death metal. I was it was the album that got my name out there. Let's see. I worked a lot of bands. I wouldn't say they're all pleasurable.
I know, but I mean, just the top 5. So you got Madrost, you got Goratory, and help me out here, dude. What was the band previous? Oh, Waking the Cadaver.
Oh yeah, Waking the Cadaver. Yeah. Oh, okay. I was thinking of some other ones. Man, that's a good question, man. The other 2, I mean, they should just fly off. I worked with. I had a lot of fun working with a band called the Funeral Pyre.
Okay.
They're a black metal band from Alhambra, I'm pretty sure, in OC. They're painting it was a lot of fun to do. It opens up into like a 3-way part, and something new. I think it was fun to work with For A Cowboy, that cover, because it was like the biggest band I worked with. I got like a lot of people.
Well, them and Black Dahlia and Putrid Pirate, I think, are the three.
The top ones, yeah. And Gorgasm was a lot of fun to work with because I love Gorgasm. Orgy of Murder was a pretty fun cover to do. I enjoy it. Just come think about it. I liked Rings of Saturn was really fun, especially at that time, like during the MySpace, like the Alien, like when those guys first came out, they had a really cool style. I enjoy working with those guys. And yeah, so it was like a lot more than 5.
So,
yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, I appreciate the time, man. It means so much. Thanks very much for coming on, dude.
Thank you for even caring, T. A lot of people don't care, man.
We'll do a part 2 hopefully soon.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Episode 13, I'm out. Thanks so much to Tony Koehl for coming on the show.
Thank
Appreciate
you for
it.
everything, T.